Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is always such a special pleasure to welcome back to the Media Center our five-time Masters champion, Mr. Tiger Woods. Most notably among his green jacket wins was that historic win in 1997 and the comeback of comeback wins in 2019. But last year was also extraordinarily special. Tiger, you came to Augusta, I believe, just 14 months
yeah.
after that horrific accident, posting rounds of 71, 74 to play the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What an extraordinary accomplishment.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and then it got cold.
Going forward, sir,
yeah.
From your perspective, I know there's healing, more PT, but how would you describe what success and satisfaction on the golf course is going to be in the coming years for you?
Well, I think that just the appreciation of being able to play the game. I know I've said this before with prior to my back fusion, I didn't know that I was going to be able to play the game at any kind of level. I was able to do that and come back and play and happen to win a major along the way. Then obviously with the accident, it's been a tough road, and again, it's the appreciation to be able to play this game, and then to be able to come here and play at Augusta National. It's such a special place, and it means so much to me in my heart to be able to come here and play this golf course and just appreciate the memories that I've had here, whether it's in competition or the practice rounds or the stories. There's so many so much of my life has been here at Augusta National, and again, just so excited to be back here and be able to compete and play.
Don, first question, please, sir.
Tiger, you've talked about the success this game has given you, especially here. It's also given you a lot of joy over the years, and I guess those are two different things. Mm-hmm. It's harder for you now, obviously. How do you find joy and joyful moments with golf now?
Well, I think that it is different. I've always enjoyed the seclusion of practicing and getting ready for events. And then obviously taking what I have done in practice into game time and be able to display that. It is a lot harder now. I don't play as many tournaments. I don't practice as much as I used to. I'm limited in what I can do. But the joy is different now. I've been able to spend more time with my son, and we were able to create our own little memories out there and to share some of the things that my dad has, what I experienced with my dad. The late night putting or practice sessions that we did at the Navy golf course, I'm doing with my son. And it's incredible, the bonding, the moments that come because of the sport. And so the joy it is different. I'm not able to compete and play as many tournaments or do the things I've been able to do over the years, but to be able to still share this game and share some memories and create new memories with my son, and then also pass down some of the things that I've learned. I've learned a lot of things in this game, so to be able to pass that on to him and others has been fantastic.
A quick follow-up. When you're playing this course, does it ever cross your mind this could be the last time?
Yes, it has. I didn't know. I mean, last year was kind of didn't know if I was going to play again at that time. For some reason, everything kind of came together, and I kind of pushed it a little bit, and I was able to make the cut, which was nice. And yeah, I don't know how many more I have in me. So just to be able to appreciate the time that I have here and cherish the memories, but still just look at the golf course and it looks like it's been here for over 100 years and it hadn't changed. Each and every year we come here and everything has changed since I first played here. But it's really neat to be able to come here and play this golf course and see all the past champions and I know more guys on the Champions Tour than I do the regular tour. So to be able to see them again and catch up with these guys it's And again, look at my last couple of days playing with Fred. I mean, it's the best. And we don't get a chance to play very often. I mean, he was like my dad on tour when I first came out here, and be able to see him at 63 years old pumping it out there and having a great time, it's been the best.
Joy?
Tiger, you've always talked about W whenever we talk to you about tournaments, and you've had so many fantastic achievements across the globe. Where does the made cut last year stand and compare to everything that you have done?
Well, it's different. You know, obviously I didn't win the tournament, but for me to be able to come back and play was a small victory in itself. Yeah, I still would like to have gotten the W, but I didn't. But I think I got my own smaller version of that to be able to come back and just be able to play. And I had a little time off there before I hadn't played in a while, and to come out. And I know the golf course, I know where to miss, I know where to hit it, and I was able to do that and somehow shoot under par and make it to the weekend. And it was a little tough on that Saturday.
Steve?
Yeah, Tiger. A couple quick ones. First, when you mentioned about how it got cold last year, have you seen the forecast for this weekend?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah.
You weren't heartened by that, I take it, or? Also, there's a short list here of guys who've been able to win back-to-back, and besides the obvious gifts of talent, what's required to do that here, and do you see any of that in Scotty?
Yeah, well, I think what has allowed some of us to be able to defend the title is understanding how to play it. You know, it's very rare that you've seen a guy that was a first-timer that come out and has won. I think it dates back to what maybe Craig Stadler, I think. But Scotty knows how to play this golf course. Having Ted on the bag obviously helps a lot. He's been with Bubba for a couple of his wins here. So understanding the golf course, I'm sure he leans on Ted a lot. And Ted understands how to play the golf course. And so I think that the teamwork of player and caddy is so important here because there's so many variables that go on. The lies, the wind, the gust, and the knowledge of the golf course. There's so many things that can happen, and talking through each and every shot. You just don't go up there and say, I have 152 yards, go ahead and hit it. It doesn't really work out that way. For some reason, this golf course, the only level spot there is the tee boxes. And then after that, you couldn't drop a golf course that has more variable winds and more penalties for a shot that is 1 yard off. A shot that is 1 yard could mean 40, 50 feet on a putt. So it's just understanding that, having that patience, and having that knowledge. And you look at the guys who have won back to back. We've all been pretty patient players.
Stephen? In the back.
Tiger, Rory McIlroy has spoken of the fondness and the relationship and friendship that he has built with you, and has appreciated much of the advice that you have given. As someone who has won here, won the Grand Slam, what would you say to him as he tries to join that exclusive club this week?
Well, he will. It's a matter of time. Rory has the talent, he has the game, he has all the tools to win here. It's just a matter of time. It takes, a lot of things have to happen to win at this golf course. A lot of things have to go right. And I think Rory has shown over the years that he's learned how to play this golf course. You just have to understand how to play it. And he's been there. Last year he made a great run, put himself there. But I think that it's just a matter of time, whether it's this year or next or whenever it comes. He will get it done, and he will have the career Grand Slam. It's just that, what year it'll be. It will definitely happen.
Jimmy Roberts?
Tiger, Rory, speaking of him just in here, and he was talking about how you've still obviously got all the shots and everything, but the mobility. Can you give us a sense of where you are mobility-wise?
Yeah, mobility is it's not where I would like it, but it's as I've said here, I've said to you guys before that I'm very lucky to have this leg. It's mine, and so yes, it has been altered and there's some hardware in there, but it's still mine, and it has been tough and it will always be tough. You know, the mobility and the endurance and what the leg will do going forward, it will never be the same. I understand that. It's one of the reasons why I can't prepare, I can't play as many tournaments I'd like. But you know, that's my future, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Doug?
How much hardware is in there?
Say again?
How much hardware is in there?
How much harder what?
Hardware is in your
There's a
leg.
lot. Yeah.
Tiger, of all the practice rounds you've played with people over the years, do you think the guys you're playing with now, Tom, Rory, JT later, do you think they look at you as a threat in terms of the tournament, and should they?
Well, I don't know if I mean, threat or not. It just, I think it's understanding, you know, picking some guys' brains and trying to figure out what they need to do to win this tournament. Hey, I was lucky enough to have played with Freddie and Raymond my first year, and Seve and Ollie. You know, that was incredible. And then Jack and Arnold and golf in part 3 contest with those guys. You know, that's what this tournament allows us to do. Is
this idea of knowledge share and learning from the guys that have gone before. Can you give us some example of maybe a situation or a particular instance that that we can relate to on what you've learned or what you've shared?
Well, let's go back to playing with Fred and Raymond. Okay, so playing number 2, right? The back left pin. There was a moment in time when the gallery was not there on the second shot in the landing area next to the green, and there was a time when as of right now, there's the gallery there, and Raymond says, I said, Raymond, what do you hit to this back left pin? Well, you hit it right over at them, and then right before it lands, you yell 4. So you hit over to the right, and things like that are kind of cool, and to have Raymond go around this golf course. That's one of the reasons why I learned how to chip with a forehand. The grain is different now than it was then. It's a lot thicker now, a lot more sticky than it used to be then. But Raymond showed me how to use a forehand around this golf course, and to listen to him describe how to use that club and the shots and the 8-iron, how he hits this shot and chips it from right here, and he'll put a cut spin on this one, and he'll put a draw spin on this one. He'll make this one hold against the hill, and then playing with Seve and Ollie, and then describing the same thing. It gives me chills just thinking about that, because that is invaluable knowledge, and that's one of the reasons why I was able to win here early, but also then again, that's why I've had short game success over my career, because I was able to pick those guys' brains early in my career and then apply it.
Zach?
Tiger, for someone who's created so many roars on the second 9 on Sunday, do you think we'll get away from those on 13? And I guess your overall thoughts on what they've done, and is it good for what's needed here? Yeah, I think it'd be very similar to what happened in 2002 with the changes. They were so dramatic on some of the holes, and when they did dramatic lengthening, that we were all kind of astounded by just how far this golf course was now playing. But then as years passed, it became a moot point. Guys with more athleticism, technology, and the average number of carry has gone up dramatically. So from 2002 to present day, those changes, it seemed like a moot point. 13 is kind of what that dramatic change was in 02. It seems dramatic to us right now, but if these guys keep getting longer, they keep getting taller, more athletic, and keep hitting the ball further, that hole is going to play, I think with a driver and a mid-iron. But again, I think similar to what in 2002, there was that change there, and like the change at 11, then pushing the hole back at 18. I think there will be there'll be less 3s and 7s on 13. There'll be more 4s and 5s. I think that's probably the best way to describe the hole, especially with the forecast coming up here, with the rain and the wind, and if it happens to blow to the north, that's right in our face. So I know they're going to try and push the tee up maybe a little bit, but still, we're not going to be able to hit it around the corner and get it going down there. The days of me hitting a 3-wood and 8-iron there are long gone.
Gentleman on the far right.
Tiger, this time last year you said that you would definitely not be here unless you thought you had a good chance of winning the tournament. Does that still stand? And accompanied to that, do you feel your physical conditioning, particularly with your leg, can you compare this year to where you were a year ago?
Yeah, I think that my game is better than it was last year at this particular time. My endurance is better, but it aches a little bit more than it did last year, just because at that particular time when I came back, I really hadn't pushed it that often, and I had this little window in which I did push it, and I was able to come back. Well, then fast forward, I didn't really play a whole lot afterwards. It took a little bit to recover from the event. I played in February at LA, and then took a little time off before getting ready for this. I just have to be cognizant of how much I can push it. It's like Rory was saying that I can hit a lot of shots, but the difficulty for me is going to be the walking going forward. It is what it is. I wish it could be easier. I got 3 more years where I get a little buggy and be out there with Fred, but until then, no buggy.
Daniel?
Tiger, this is our first, over here.
Yeah, Dean.
In the back.
Yeah.
This is our first time speaking to you since the PGA Tour rolled out its new designated event schedule. And you've said in the past that the record you're most proud of is your consecutive cuts made streak, that you took a lot of pride in that. What is your thought about the direction of the PGA Tour and namely getting rid of the cuts in some of these biggest events?
Yeah, I think that there's still some ongoing discussions about some of the designated events and whether or not we're going to have cuts going forward. I'm certainly pushing for my event to have a cut. I think that maybe the player-hosted events may have cuts. These are things that Jack and I are still discussing, with Jay and the board and the tour and the rest of the guys. That still is an influx. I still think that there needs to be, a penalty for not playing well, and to have that. Every event shouldn't be always guaranteed to 72 holes. I think that there should be a cut there, but we're trying to figure that out, and what designated events those are going to be, how many are there going to be. That's still ongoing, but that conversation is certainly being had.
Anne?
Hey, Tiger. What has been the key to your overcoming adversity through the years, would you say?
Stubbornness. Yeah, you guys have seen me. I'm a little bit on the stubborn side, so I believe in hard work. I believe in getting out there and getting out of what you put into it. And I've worked very hard in my throughout my career and in my craft. I've always loved it, and I've certainly have had my share of adversities physically, and have had multiple surgeries, and I've had to come back and work through that. And those were tough. They're never easy, but I think just the overall desire to win has always been there, and I've always worked at it and believed in what I could do, and I've been stubborn and driven to come back and be able to play at a high level, and I think that has shown throughout my career. One of the reasons why I was able to, like I was telling Dee, how many cuts I've been able to make in a row, how many tournaments I've been able to win over the course of my career, and that's just hanging in there and fighting on each and every shot. It means something. Each and every shot means something.
Alan?
Tiger over here. XL Sports Management has no live clients, and I'm wondering if you have an influence on that.
I do not know. I certainly have had, my opinion with Steiny and the company, but that's about XL and what they want to do. I do not have any direct influence over that.
Direct? Indirect influence?
I have my opinions, yes.
Let's go forward. Bob Herrig.
Tiger, the other thing that's gone down since we last saw you is the RNA and the USGA proposal on the golf ball. And, some of your peers have been very much against it, a few not, but obviously there's been some outspoken comments about it. Just curious where you stand, and also how would it impact you right now? Like, what would that do when you were if you were hitting that golf ball now?
Well, I have always been an advocate of rolling if you're going to do anything to the equipment, I don't think that you can change the size of the heads anymore, just because there's so many out there. But I still think that it's very much like baseball with aluminum bats and wooden bats. You can have a difference in the golf ball, and tennis has the same thing. You go to different events, they have different balls. The public doesn't really know that, but the players do. I've been of the position if you play in a pro event or you have a P next to your name, you should be playing a pro ball. Now, that was my opinion on it. If you have an A next to your name and you're playing an amateur event, you should use an amateur ball. But if you're an amateur playing a pro event, that's where the transition can be had, where you can start, I would say, rolling the game back, but you can start kind of slowing it down because we're just not able to create enough property out there. The guys are going to become more athletic. Everyone's going to get stronger and bigger and faster as generations go on. And with technology, you're going to find, even if you roll the ball back and get a spinnier golf ball, guys are going to find that you may go to a 4-degree driver. And you may find a different shaft, and you may have that one matchup. But I just think that yes, I think this should have happened a long time ago. That's where Jack was saying that the 384 was going too far. This is back in the 80s. But I still, that's my take on it, that the amateurs should be able to have fun and still hit the golf ball far, but we can be regulated about how far we hit it. Now, I understand the marketing is going to be different, for, how are you going to market, your equipment to the public. But yeah, I understand that, but on a competitive level, there's only so much we can do at the amateur level or the tour level on how much property we can do, and the guys are going to find ways to hit it further. And the average number used to be, 280 off the tees, 279 when I first came out on tour. Now the guys are carrying a 320, okay? So not every golf course can be like Augusta National and move property and move the holes back. There's so many golf courses you can do that on. And we still want to be able to play the old traditional great golf courses. But again, here's the difficulty of the question. The enjoyment of the game. We've had a big boom in this game with COVID, and more people playing the game. It's more exciting. Okay, well, on tour, it's exciting to see Rory and McIlroy hit it, 340 yards on every hole. But does it challenge us and separate the guys who can really hit the ball in the middle of the face and control their shots? And I think if you roll the ball back a little bit, you'll see that the better ball strikers will have more of an advantage over the guys who miss it a little bit.
Do you have any sense for how it might impact you personally?
Well, by the time it takes effect, I may be long gone. So, again, I said I might be in that buggy, and then off we go. Last week I was out at home playing at Medalist, and I had my old Persimmon driver, and I was able to still carry the ball 290 yards. Now, when I missed it, no, it did not go very far, but the ability to hit the ball in the middle of the face was rewarded. And then I don't know if Rory shared this, but yesterday I brought a couple Bellotta balls up here with me and threw them over to him and had him hit a couple putts with it. And he's like, "Oh my God, this is." I said, "Yeah, this is exactly. This is, we're not going to roll the ball back that far, but it's kind of neat to be able to see the golf ball do different things."
All right, we have time for just 2 more questions, please. Kevin, we'll start with you, and then Gary.
Tiger, you were talking a little bit about this really cool bank of memories that you have here at Augusta. I'm wondering I'm just curious, have you ever tried to recreate the chip on 16 from 2005, like whether it was playing with Charlie or Justin or somebody who wasn't around for it?
No, they've has since redesigned that hole, redesigned the green, so it's not where it how it used to be over there. I just ran into Peter Dawson on the way in here, and he's right behind me on that chip shot, so everyone's screaming and yelling, and Peter's just as stoic as can be back there. That's one of the neat photos. But no, the green has been changed. There is a new back, deeper hole location there that they tried to fit. No, but my chip there in 05 is not the same as, the green is not the same as it was then.
You see like replays of that. It's obviously become one of the most iconic master shots of all time. Like what goes through your head when some comes across your TV or your phone?
I did not draw a bad line that tee shot to hit it that bad. So, if you want to go back and see the chip went in, okay, that's cool. But to hit an 8-iron that bad and that far offline, and I had a perfect lie, was not very good.
Finish up with Gary.
Tiger, when you won in 19, you had an appreciable build to that win, having won the Tour Championship, the PGA prior to that, the Open Championship, and even that season, you had solid starts. You clipped Rory in the match play before you came here. So in the absence of competitive rounds coming here, how do you execute what is essentially like a micro strike and contend and win here?
Gary, it's a lot of it has been understanding the golf course, and I know the golf course, and so I've been able to recreate a lot of the chip shots at home in my backyard, or I'm at Medalist hitting shots off of Saudi Hill lies, trying to simulate the shots and rehearsing again and again each and every flag location, each and every shot I would possibly hit. I've gone through so many different scenarios in my head. I don't sleep very well, so going through it and rummaging through the data bank and how to hit shots from each and every place and rehearsing it. That's the only way that I can compete here. I don't have the physical tournaments under my belt. I haven't played that much, no. But if there's any one golf course that I can come back like I did last year, it's here, just because I know the golf course. And you look at what Bernhard's still able to compete here, Fred's still able to compete here. The older guys who understand how to play this particular golf course. It helps, and hopefully it'll help me this week.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tiger, thank you so much for
Thank
spending
you,
some time with us, and the best of luck. Thank you.